Now, considering that school has already started, or in my instance starts tomorrow at the time of this recording, there's a lot of anime we either got to or didn't get to this summer, and I'm here to recommend some for you guys to watch during the school year that you may not have watched during the summer. Starting with a popular new gen, let's talk about To Be Hero X. To Be Hero X is set in a world where heroes are become heroes based off their trust value, and a trust value could mean anything really, whether they trust you to be someone that smiles a lot or trust you to be the most quiet person of all time. Either way, that trust value can dictate whether or not you'll be a top 10 hero or just, your average Spider-Man local type of hero. And so every year the top 10 heroes come together and do a kind of battle royale type of thing to dictate who's going to be the number one hero, aka Hero X. Now for the past 3 years there's been a mysterious new type of hero that they just call Hero X because they don't know his name, who's been winning the battle every single year. And somehow he easily sweeps each character in 30 seconds. So that's also another mystery in the show. My favorite part of the show is probably it exposing the dark side of being a hero, as there's multiple or actually a lot of dark agencies trying to expose heroes or trying to just make them cooperate forcefully, a lot of people trying to take advantage of heroes, and just a lot of dark stuff going on behind the scenes, despite the fact it's supposed to be a very cheery type of agency. And yes, you'll see some heroes who are able to overcome and be able to see the light despite all the darkness around them, but there are a lot of other heroes who end up succumbing under depression and end up going down a pretty dark path. So yeah, I definitely recommend this one if you like My Hero Academia or any other type of superhero anime, as it exposes the more real side of it. Now for our next anime, we got a bit of an underrated early 2010s, late 2000s anime known as Nura: Rise of the Yokai Clan. So the story follows Riko Nura, a seemingly ordinary middle school student living in modern day Japan. However, Riko is actually 3/4 human and 1/4 yokai, yokai being the supernatural beings of Japanese folklore, and more importantly, he's the son of Nurari Hion, the supreme commander of the Nura clan, a powerful yokai syndicate that has ruled for centuries. Now, due to his father passing away when he was little, he's supposed to become the third heir and the leader of the yokai clan, but instead he wants to live as a human, as he feels more comfortable on his human side and views that the yokai being a monstrous and just a destructive side of his bloodline. But in reality, when it's nighttime, he turns into this yokai form and becomes a really powerful, charismatic yokai leader who everyone seems to admire, despite the fact he turned into a wimp in the sun. But over time, aka a few episodes, you realize he has to be able to accept the duality of his existence and be able to both cause peace in the yokai and human worlds, as sometimes they conflict quite a bit. At first I was pretty skeptical at the anime because I was afraid it was going to be one of those things where the main character has two sides of himself that he needs to be able to overcome and be able to come together as one, but in reality it's a lot different than that. There's a lot more stuff going on, whether there's problems going on with the syndicate, different type of yokai from the past trying to destroy the whole world, and just a whole lot of other stuff going on. For those who love those anime that involve different folklore such as Inspector or ghost stories, then yeah, this anime is one of those ones. And I'm not gonna lie, the fight scenes are kinda tough for a 2000s anime if I'm being honest. Now for this next anime, we got a pretty popular 2000s anime known as Nana. Now the story begins with two girls who board the same train and sit next to each other who coincidentally have the same name, one being Nana Komatsu and one being Nana Osaki. But Nana Komatsu being a cheerful, naive, and hopelessly romantic girl who tends to fall in love really quickly when she decides to move to Tokyo to start a new life with her boyfriend chase her dream of independence, while Nana Osaki is a strong, cool, and ambitious punk rock singer with a dark past. She moved to Tokyo in pursuit of her dream to make it big in the music world with her band Blast. Now after their train ride to Tokyo, they end up meeting an episode later at the same apartment, and it turns out they want to be roommates together, and that's when a whole lot of stuff ends up happening. Now I'll admit I was pretty hesitant to start this anime as I thought it was going to be something that appeals more to the girls than it's really to a boy such as myself, but in reality this anime is way too deep for something to be considered as just a girly anime. We'll be covering some real stuff, talking about love and heartbreak, dreams versus reality, identity versus independence, and friendship and found family, as the two of them end up going through a lot of stuff with their dreams of becoming a punk rock singer, and some of them getting played with way too much emotionally, aka Hachi. Also a quick little side note, but the singers in this show are actually amazing. Like Nana has a great voice, and I'm pretty sure the soundtrack is probably somewhere on Spotify that I need to probably listen to more often, but hey bro, I'm just letting y'all know, great show and great music. Next anime you guys should watch is Black Lagoon, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know this anime, but still we're gonna go over it either way. So the show takes place in a city known as Ranipur, which is basically a combination of GTA RP and Gotham City, having the worst of the worst reside there, and basically every single crime you can think of happening. Drug trafficking, murders, kidnapping, that's basically what happens on a daily basis. And our main character Rock ends up coming across this place when he's on a business trip to Southeast Asia, and his life changes forever after his ship is hijacked by a group of modern day pirates known as the Lagoon Company. Well, after essentially being kidnapped, he ends up joining the Lagoon Company as he gets bored of that saturated, boring work life that happens in Japan for almost every other male there. And from then on, Rock is thrown into the world of mercenary work, navigating daily encounters with mafia syndicates, assassins, religious extremists, child soldiers, and rogue warlords. Now, despite the craziness of the world they live in now, there's a lot of stuff that's mentioned in the show that makes you really think. One of the themes being mentioned is morality in a lawless world, as the anime constantly asks where the line is drawn between good and evil when survival is the only rule. As you'll come across many instances in the anime where they have to make an evil call despite the fact it leads to good things in the future, and it makes you question how moral people really are when they have to quite literally make the worst decisions of their life just to survive another day. This is not your typical anime where there's some type of love interest going on in the background. Not any of that. In reality, everyone's just trying to make it to see another day, and they're not afraid to ditch you if they have to make the job done. Trust me. Now, for this last anime, I was battling either this or Gachi Kuda, which is a new anime going on now, but I realized I might as well put you on to actual peak. So the anime we'll be talking about is 86. Now, in a fictional country known as the Republic of San Mongolia, a nation locked in a long war against the neighboring Emperor of Jihad, the Republic claims that its war machines known as the Juggernauts are unmanned drones that allow citizens to fight without casualties, but this is actually a really big lie. The Juggernauts are actually piloted by a persecuted minority group known as the 86, humans stripped of their rights, forced into internment camps, and used as expendable soldiers because of their different ethnic features. For immigrants who didn't match the image of the white-haired, silver-eyed alba majority that live inside the Republic, the 86 are cast out into the 86 unofficial district to die in the Republic's place, kind of similar to the Hunger Games if you read that or watched the movies. Alba woman this show is based off of is Lena, a military officer who serves as a handler, which is basically someone who commands the Spearhead Squadron, and unlike most Alba, she actually treats the 86 as human beings and ends up forging a bond with the 86 she's handling known as the Spearhead Squadron. The reason why the 86 Squadron known as the Spearhead Squadron is such a distinct group is that basically all 86 were told to fight in the war are given 5 years, and if you're able to live past 5 years, then you're allowed to go back to the Republic. But in reality, they don't want any other 86 going into the Republic. So what they do is they forcibly put 86 into this suicide mission or in this internment camp that's really close to near where the war is, so they can be the first ones to die, and no one can ever actually reach up to that 5-year mark to leave. So yeah, this is a pretty fucked up situation, but I kind of enjoy the fact it's kind of realistic to what goes on in the real world, as shit like this still happens to this day despite the fact we seemingly abolished it all over the world. But anyways, this is by far my favorite sci-fi anime besides Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and I really hope you guys enjoyed as well. Anyways, y'all, I guess it's the end of the video. Hope you guys liked the anime I watched this summer, and hopefully you guys are able to watch it during the school year if you're not too busy. But anyways, y'all, hope God blesses you as he's been blessing me, and appreciate you guys for watching.